Welcome back today. In this video, we're diving into the fascinating world of United Kingdom threepence coins, also known as threepenny bits. These coins were issued for centuries in different designs, metals, and mint marks, and while many were made in huge quantities, a select few are incredibly rare and highly valuable to collectors. Let's count down the top 5 most valuable United Kingdom threepence coins, looking at their different conditions, mint marks, and years that make them stand out in the auction market. Let's get started. First up, the 1943 threepence, also known as the brass threepence. While it may appear small and ordinary to some, this coin actually carries with it a rich history, unique design elements, and a place of interest among coin collectors worldwide. In this video, we will explore its history, its standout features, the rarity of surviving examples, and, most importantly, its current market value in US dollars when found in fine condition. By the end, you'll know exactly why this 1943 piece deserves attention in the numismatic world. The threepence coin was part of the United Kingdom's pre-decimal currency system, circulating well before decimalization in 1971. The 1943 issue comes from the reign of King George VI, the father of Queen Elizabeth II. During this time, World War II was in full swing, and coins had to be durable, affordable, and easy to produce. That is why the coin was struck in brass, rather than silver as in earlier years. Millions were minted, intended to be practical for everyday use. However, because of their composition and the tough times of war, many coins became damaged or worn heavily in circulation. Today, surviving examples in fine condition are becoming increasingly collectible as a piece of wartime British history. The 1943 threepence is immediately recognizable thanks to its unusual shape and design. Unlike most round coins, it has 12 sides, making it one of the most distinctive coins in circulation at the time. On the obverse, you'll find the portrait of King George VI, facing left, surrounded by the inscription Georgiev 6DGBROMN Rex F laughing smiley INDIMP, which translates to George VI, by the grace of God, King of all the Britons, Defender of the Faith, Emperor of India. On the reverse, the design features a thrift plant with blossoms in the center, a nod to Britain's resilience during wartime. The date, 1943, is struck beneath the design. Its golden brass color also sets it apart from other coins of the era, giving it a unique look and feel in any collection. While the 1943 threepence was produced in large quantities, the real challenge for collectors is finding coins in fine or better condition. During World War II, coins were handled roughly, often exposed to moisture, dirt, and heavy use in everyday commerce. Many of these coins developed corrosion, dents, or lost their original luster, making them less appealing to serious collectors. Interestingly, even damaged coins from this year are often picked up by entry-level collectors, since they serve as affordable ways to own a piece of Britain's wartime history. The true demand, however, comes from coins that have survived in fine or very fine condition, where the king's portrait remains sharp and the thrift design is clearly visible. These are the examples that stand out in auctions and numismatic markets. Now let's talk about what most collectors want to know: the value. A 1943 threepence in heavily circulated or damaged condition might only fetch around $15. However, when you move into fine condition, values begin to climb. In the US auction market, a well-preserved fine example can sell for $326,000, depending on eye appeal. Coins in very fine or extremely fine grades may range from $224,000, and near uncirculated pieces can command even higher prices. Rare examples that are fully uncirculated with no signs of wear can sometimes exceed $20 at auctions, especially when bidding wars break out among collectors who specialize in King George VI coinage. While the coin may not be among the rarest of British issues, its distinctive look and wartime connection ensure it remains a steady favorite among buyers. For those interested in adding a 1943 threepence to their collection, there are a few key tips to keep in mind. First, always check the condition carefully. Look for sharp details on the king's portrait and the thrift plant. These are the best indicators of grade and value. Second, beware of cleaning. Many older coins have been polished by inexperienced sellers, which can actually reduce their market value significantly. Third, storage matters. Brass coins are prone to tarnish, so using protective holders or coin flips is essential for long-term preservation. Lastly, Always compare auction results before making a purchase, as prices can fluctuate depending on demand and the visibility of the sale. Collectors who are patient often find better deals by waiting for the right moment rather than rushing into a BUYN summary. The 1943 United Kingdom Threepence may not be the rarest coin ever struck, but it carries immense historical value as a wartime issue under King George VI. Its unique 12-sided shape, brass composition, and iconic thrift design make it a standout among British pre-decimal coins. While worn or damaged examples remain affordable entry points for new collectors, coins in fine condition or better can achieve respectable values in the market, often reaching into the tens of dollars. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or someone just beginning to explore the world of coin collecting, the 1943 Threepence offers a fascinating glimpse into Britain's resilience during the war years and a rewarding piece to treasure for generations to come. Next up, the United Kingdom Threepence from 1941, found in circulated fine condition. While at first glance this coin might look like just another small denomination, it actually carries with it an interesting story tied to wartime Britain. In this video, we'll uncover the history behind this coin, highlight its unique features, explore its rarity and demand among collectors, break down its current market value in dollars, and share some useful tips for anyone looking to add this coin to their collection. The 1941 Threepence coin was minted during one of the most critical years of World War II. Britain was under immense pressure, both economically and militarily. Precious metals were being diverted to support the war effort, and coinage played a vital role in keeping the nation's economy running. The threepence, sometimes called the threepenny bit, was originally introduced as a practical replacement for silver threepence coins, which had become less economical to produce. By 1941, the coin was made of brass, a mix of copper and zinc, which gave it its distinctive golden color and durability. Minted under the reign of King George VI, this coin became an everyday piece of currency that passed through the hands of soldiers, factory workers, and families trying to get by during a time of great hardship. One of the most distinctive features of the 1941 threepence is its shape. Unlike traditional round coins, it is dodecagonal, meaning it has 12 sides. This unusual design made the coin instantly recognizable by touch, an advantage in daily life. On the obverse, or front, the coin bears the portrait of King George VI, created by the engraver Thomas Humphrey Paget. His crowned head faces left, surrounded by the Latin inscription Georgiv 6DGBROMN Rex F laughing smiley INDIMP, which translates to George VI, by the grace of God, King of all the Britons, Defender of the Faith, Emperor of India. On the reverse, the design features a thrift plant, a type of flowering plant symbolizing resilience and survival, along with the denomination threepence and the year 1941. This symbolic choice carried deep meaning during the war years, reminding citizens of endurance and hope. Although the 1941 threepence is not considered among the rarest UK coins, its wartime connection gives it a certain historical charm. Millions were struck, which means it is not excessively difficult to find. However, condition plays a major role in its desirability. Circulated coins in fine condition, like the one we're discussing today, are more common than uncirculated or mint state examples. That being said, even in worn or slightly damaged condition, these coins can still attract interest from collectors who value their connection to the Second World War. Collectors who focus on wartime coinage often seek out this coin specifically because it represents resilience in a time of global crisis. Damaged or heavily circulated examples are less valuable, but they still serve as a piece of history that is affordable for beginner collectors, making them popular entry-level items. Now let's discuss value, which is always one of the most exciting parts for collectors. A 1941 threepence coin in circulated fine condition generally trades between $514,000, depending on the seller and buyer interest. Heavily worn or damaged pieces may only bring around $1, while nicer fine examples can fetch closer to the upper range of $3. If you happen to come across a coin in very high grade, such as extremely fine or uncirculated, the value can climb much higher, sometimes reaching $113,000 or more at auction. However, in typical circulated fine condition, collectors consider it an affordable coin, making it a great addition for those building a complete set of George VI coinage or wartime issues. For anyone interested in adding the 1941 threepence to their collection, there are a few important tips to keep in mind. First, always check the coin's edges and details. Since this coin has a 12-sided design, sharpness along the edges is one of the first signs of better preservation. Second, pay attention to the portrait of George VI. The clearer his facial features and crown details, the better the grade. Third, keep in mind that brass coins can tarnish over time, so avoid cleaning them harshly. A natural patina is often preferred by collectors and may even add to the coin's appeal. Finally, when buying, try to source coins from reputable dealers or auctions to ensure authenticity, as counterfeit examples of popular UK coinage do exist, though they are less common for lower value coins like this. In summary, the 1941 threepence is more than just a small wartime coin, it's a window into Britain's resilience during the Second World War. Its unique dodecagonal design, brass composition, and symbolic thrift plant give it a charm that continues to capture the attention of collectors today. While it is not a high-value rarity, its affordability makes it a perfect starting point for beginner collectors and a meaningful addition for anyone interested in wartime history. Whether you're seeking it in fine condition for just a couple of dollars or aiming for higher grades to build a premium collection, this coin stands as a reminder of Britain's endurance through challenging times. Next up, the United Kingdom threepence coin from 1962, found in circulation condition. At first glance, this coin may appear quite ordinary, but when we explore its history, its unique design, and its role in the coin market, we discover there's much more than meets the eye. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, this video will give you a complete overview of the 1962 threepence, its rarity, and its current auction market value in US dollars. The United Kingdom threepence coin, also known as the threepenny bit, has a long history in British currency. The 1962 issue comes from the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, who had only been on the throne for a little over a decade at that time. This coin belongs to the brass 12-sided design, first introduced in 1937 under King George VI, and continued throughout the early reign of Elizabeth II. By 1962, these coins were a familiar sight in everyday British pockets and purses. It's important to note that the threepence denomination played a vital role in small everyday transactions before the decimalisation of British currency in 1971, when the coin was officially withdrawn from circulation. One of the most striking aspects of the 1962 threepence is its design. Unlike most round coins, this piece is 12-sided, giving it a distinctive and easily recognizable shape. On the obverse, you'll find the first portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Mary Gillick. This youthful depiction of the Queen, bareheaded and facing right, is iconic and symbolic of the early years of her reign. On the reverse, the design by Frances Mary P. Noel-Baker features a Tudor portcullis with chains, a design steeped in tradition and history. The coin is composed of brass, consisting of 79% copper, 20% zinc, and 1% nickel, giving it a bright golden yellow appearance when new, though circulation pieces often show heavy toning and wear. The weight of the coin is about 6.8 grams, and its diameter measures around 21 millimeters across the flats, making it a sturdy coin for everyday use. When it comes to rarity, the 1962 threepence is not considered among the rarest British coins. In fact, over 30 million were struck that year, making it one of the more common issues in circulation. However, condition plays a huge role in determining collector interest. Coins from this period are often found in heavily circulated or even damaged condition, showing scratches, corrosion, or flattened details from years of use. In such cases, the rarity is not about the year but about the preservation of the coin. Collectors typically pay little attention to badly worn or damaged examples, but there is still a modest demand from new collectors who wish to complete a date set of Queen Elizabeth II pre-decimal coins. So while a damaged 1962 threepence may not be rare in numbers, its appeal lies in filling a gap for beginner collectors. Now let's talk about the most anticipated part, the value of the coin in today's market. A 1962 threepence in circulation or damaged condition generally holds low monetary value due to its high mintage and common survival rate. In average circulation condition, these coins often sell for around $321,000. If the coin is damaged, bent, corroded, or excessively worn, it might only be worth its novelty to a collector, often just a few cents. However, coins in fine to very fine condition may achieve slightly better prices in online auctions, typically around $1 to $2. It's only when you reach uncirculated or proof-like examples that the value begins to climb significantly, sometimes reaching $10 to $15 for exceptional pieces. But for circulation and especially damaged coins, the reality is that the value remains quite modest. If you're a collector considering a 1962 threepence for your collection, here are a few tips to keep in mind. First, always look for condition. Even though the year itself is common, higher grade examples with sharp details and minimal wear can stand out in a collection. Second, avoid heavily damaged coins unless they hold sentimental value or are being bought at a very low price. Third, try to source coins from reputable dealers or auction sites to avoid counterfeits or misrepresented grades. Finally, remember that while this particular coin may not bring big money, it represents an important piece of pre-decimal British coinage history, and adding it to your collection can enrich the overall story of your SETA. In conclusion, the United Kingdom threepence of 1962 is a charming yet common coin from the early years of Queen Elizabeth II's reign. While it doesn't rank highly in terms of rarity or value, especially in circulated or damaged condition, it still holds a place of significance in British coinage history. Its distinctive 12-sided design, brass composition, and iconic portrait of the young Queen make it instantly recognizable and enjoyable to own. For collectors, its affordability makes it an accessible entry point into the fascinating world of numismatics. So while you might not strike gold with a 1962 threepence, you'll certainly be holding a small, tangible piece of history. Next up, the United Kingdom's pre-decimal era, the 1967 threepence in fine condition. At first glance, this coin may seem like a common piece of British history, but collectors know that even widely minted coins have their own story, their own unique appeal, and a fluctuating value in the auction market. We'll explore its history, design, rarity, and collector demand, especially when found in damaged condition, and finally, we'll review its current value in US dollars. If you're interested in collecting British coins, this is a video you won't want to miss. The United Kingdom threepence coin, often called the Threepence or threepenny bit, was first issued in 1937 during the reign of King George VI and continued until decimalisation in 1971. The 1967 threepence belongs to the reign of Queen Elizabeth II and was struck in the final years before the transition to decimal currency. This particular coin is made of brass, a mix of copper, zinc, and tin, and carries the distinct 12-sided shape introduced in 1937. The year 1967 is significant because it marked the largest single mintage of the brass threepence series, produced in the tens of millions to meet circulation demand. Despite this, its enduring charm lies in its historical role as one of the last pre-decimal coins to be used in everyday transactions before Britain officially adopted the decimal system in 1971. The design of the 1967 threepence is both practical and symbolic. On the obverse, it bears the youthful portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, created by artist Mary Gillick, which was in use on British coinage from 1953 to 1970. This portrait depicts the Queen wearing a laureate crown, representing tradition and continuity. The reverse of the coin showcases a Tudor portcullis with chains and a crown above, designed by Humphrey Paget. The 12-sided shape made the coin easily identifiable by touch, a feature especially useful for the visually impaired. With a diameter of 21 millimeters, a thickness of 2.5 millimeters, and weighing 6.8 grams, this coin was sturdy and practical for circulation. Its golden brass tone makes it stand out from other denominations of the time. In terms of rarity, the 1967 threepence is not considered a scarce coin. In fact, it was minted in enormous quantities, with over 167 million pieces struck. Because of this, examples in circulated or fine condition are still easy to find today. However, rarity and value are not always the same thing. While the 1967 issue is common, there remains consistent demand among collectors who wish to complete a full set of pre-decimal coins or simply enjoy the nostalgia of a coin that was once part of everyday life in Britain. Even in damaged or heavily circulated condition, these coins hold some collector interest because they represent a piece of national history. That said, damaged coins typically have little to no premium and are often valued simply for their curiosity or sentimental worth rather than for rarity. When it comes to the auction market, condition is everything. A 1967 threepence in fine condition, while common, generally fetches between $423,000. Coins in very fine or extremely fine condition can reach slightly higher, sometimes up to $116,000, especially if they are well preserved with sharp detail and minimal wear. In uncirculated or brilliant uncirculated condition, the value can increase to $5 or more, depending on the buyer. Auction houses rarely spotlight this coin because of its large mintage, but groups of them often appear in bulk sales where collectors can pick them up at very affordable prices. Ultimately, the 1967 threepence is more valuable as a historical artifact than as a financial investment, though it remains an important addition for anyone interested in British pre-decimal coinage. For those interested in collecting the 1967 threepence, the best advice is to focus on condition. Since circulated examples are plentiful and inexpensive, consider looking for coins in uncirculated or near uncirculated condition, as these will hold the most appeal in the long run. It's also wise to store your coins properly, in a dry environment and preferably in protective coin holders, to prevent tarnish and damage. Collectors should also be aware that the 1967 issue is one of the easiest dates to find, so instead of investing heavily in this single year, it can be more rewarding to collect the entire threepence series from 1937 to 1970. This gives a more complete picture of the coin's history and evolution under both King George VI and Queen Elizabeth II. The 1967 United Kingdom threepence is a coin that bridges the gap between tradition and change, marking the final years of Britain's pre-decimal system. While it is not rare and holds only modest auction value in fine condition, it continues to capture the interest of collectors due to its distinctive design, historical significance, and connection to an era that shaped modern British coinage. For new collectors, it offers an accessible entry point into numismatics, while for seasoned enthusiasts, it provides a nostalgic reminder of the coins that once rattled in pockets and purses across the country. Whether valued at a few cents or a few dollars, the 1967 threepence is a timeless piece of history worth cherishing. Next up, the United Kingdom threepence from the year 1954 in fine condition. This coin is not just another piece of British history. It is one of the rarest and most valuable coins ever struck by the Royal Mint in the mid-20th century. Many collectors consider it a crown jewel of their collections, and its story is filled with rarity, intrigue, and remarkable auction records. Stay tuned as we explore its history, unique features, rarity, and market value in US dollars, along with tips for collectors who may be dreaming of owning one. The threepence coin, often nicknamed the threepenny bit, was first introduced in the United Kingdom during the reign of King Edward VI, though its most recognized version was minted in the 20th century. By 1937, under King George VI, a distinctive 12-sided brass design was introduced, and this continued into the reign of Queen Elizabeth II. The 1954 issue belongs to this iconic 12-sided brass series. At the time, the coin was intended for everyday circulation, with a relatively small face value, but the post-war years were a transitional period for British coinage. In fact, by 1954, the Royal Mint produced only a very limited number of these coins. They were not widely distributed, making them exceptionally hard to find today. This limited release is one of the main reasons why the 1954 threepence has become legendary among British numismatics. The United Kingdom threepence of 1954 carries the portrait of a young Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse, designed by Mary Gillick. This effigy, known for its simple elegance, shows the Queen uncrowned, symbolizing freshness and renewal at the beginning of her reign. The reverse features the iconic Tudor portcullis design with chains, a strong emblem associated with British history and Parliament. The coin is dodecagonal, 12-sided and struck in brass, giving it a distinctive yellow-gold tone compared to the more common silver or copper coins of earlier decades. The unusual shape, combined with its bright color, makes it instantly recognizable and visually striking. These details, paired with the extremely limited mintage, make the 1954 threepence a standout piece. Rarity is where the 1954 threepence truly shines. Unlike other years where millions were produced, the 1954 issue had a minuscule mintage. In fact, it is believed that only a handful were ever released, and many experts debate whether some were primarily struck as test or specimen pieces rather than for circulation. Because of this, finding one in any condition, whether pristine, fine, or even damaged, is a tremendous challenge. Even heavily worn or damaged examples attract significant attention from collectors. In numismatics, rarity often trumps condition, and in the case of the 1954 threepence, that rule holds true. Collectors worldwide compete fiercely for this coin, and the demand continues to grow each year as fewer examples appear on the open market. Now, let's talk numbers. The 1954 United Kingdom threepence in fine condition has sold at auctions for thousands of dollars. Depending on condition and provenance, prices can vary greatly, but even in lower grades or with signs of wear, these coins can fetch well over $622,000. In fine condition, values often rise dramatically, with some coins bringing in between $426,000 at auctions. In near mint or uncirculated condition, the rarity skyrockets the value even higher, with some specimens reportedly reaching tens of thousands of dollars. For context, the mere mention of a 1954 threepence in an auction catalogue tends to stir intense interest among collectors, making it one of the most desirable post-war British coins on the international market. For those hoping to add the 1954 threepence to their collection, patience and vigilance are key. First, always verify authenticity. Because of its high value, the coin has occasionally been subject to counterfeiting, so buying from reputable dealers, established auctions, or certified grading services is crucial. Second, consider condition, but remember that rarity is the dominant factor. Even if you can only find a worn or damaged example, it can still be a fantastic investment. Third, stay updated with auction houses and numismatic forums, as these coins appear on the market infrequently. Finally, if owning one is out of reach, collectors may still enjoy building a complete series of Queen Elizabeth II threepence coins from other years, which remain affordable and provide valuable historical context. The United Kingdom threepence of 1954 is far more than just a small piece of brass. It is a treasure of numismatic history, representing rarity, beauty, and immense collector demand. With only a tiny number believed to exist, its presence at auctions excites both seasoned collectors and newcomers alike. Whether in fine condition or even damaged, its value in US dollars reflects its importance and scarcity. For coin enthusiasts, it stands as a reminder that even the smallest denominations can hold incredible stories and immense worth. If you ever come across a 1954 threepence, you're holding a piece of British history that very few people in the world will ever own. Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, like and subscribe for more coin deep dives, and drop a comment if you've ever found a 1954 threepence in your change. Tell us the condition and where you found it.